Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three amigos, three bambinos come together to talk about nerd shit. I'm your host tonight, Miguel Sanchez. With me is Fuck All. You guys, it's a solo episode. They should not let me do this, but you know what? This year's been a crazy fuck, so here we are. It's Miguel time. Ed is out this week and kind of like forever. He'll be back eventually full time, but you know, new baby woes. That baby not sleeping, y'all. He's cute as hell though. Luis working like a dog, dude. He's barking all the way from LA. So I said, hey, let me just take over tonight. I'll read the news. You know, I'll watch a trailer. I'll get into some what we're into. It's cool. It's chill. It's a laid back, low key, chill vibe episode. I'm probably going to get silly or not because I'm not drinking all that much tonight. And we're just going to get into it. A little too much exposition, right, Miguel? Yeah, probably, but that's okay. Let's keep moving. All right. So, guys, boom, you know the episode format. We're going to talk about news. We're going to talk about trailers. We're going to talk about what we're into. And I've got a couple things I wanted to talk about with Ed and Luis that I might just talk to myself about because fuck it. I've got thoughts. So let's jump right into it. You guys, as always, be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on all social medias. And I'm going to talk more about that a little bit later. Let's jump right into the news. First, Miguel's going to take a deep breath. Man, you ever just like talk for 2 minutes straight without breathing? Don't do that. I don't recommend that. Guys, big news coming out the internet this week. They finally announced the host of the 1997 Oscars. Yep, that's what I said. The Oscars from 1997. No, the 97th annual Oscars Academy Awards is going to be hosted by none other than probably the best late night host ever, Conan O'Brien. God, I wish everyone was here to talk about this because I feel like, oof, I love a late night. I love getting into talks about like late night hosts and who my favorite are. Couple that with the Oscars, I know we would have been talking here for about 4 hours. Guys, whether you like whether Conan O'Brien is your cup of tea as far as late night comedy hosts go, I think it's clear that he is very talented at what he does. He's one of my absolute favorites, top three, and he's not number three, or however that goes. And I think the Oscars is kind of like the perfect stage for him. I saw a tweet or a thread, something recently where someone was like, it's wild that Conan O'Brien's value as a comedian and like talent and entertainer has gone up since his show ended. You know, he did his show, he ended it, he's doing his podcast. His Hot Ones was really big earlier this year. It was like one of the best episodes in a really long time. So he just like knows how to produce good entertainment. So I'm kind of excited. I don't know. Is this his first time? I'm asking. Who's talking to me? No one. This might be his first time hosting, I'm pretty sure. So I think he's going to pull out all the stops and have a really good time. I think when you get these hosts that have been doing it for a really long time, you know, not shit talking Jimmy Kimmel, but he's done it quite a lot. And it's like, okay, I think Jimmy Kimmel is also good at a certain type of entertainment. And I just think let's get something different. So anyway, I'm kind of looking forward to this news. We were going to watch the Oscars anyway for our podcast, but now I'm looking just a little bit more forward to that aspect of the show. And you guys stay tuned because, you know, in a few weeks, we're going to be talking about this is the movie I think is going to win the Oscars. It's Miguel's favorite episode. You guys, something else I'm ready to just like dive right into the ocean of this conversation with myself. That was a shitty segue. Shout out, Luis. Guys, we got our first look today. It's Wednesday today, so a couple days ago when this podcast airs, we got our first look at Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. You familiar? As Maui in the live-action Moana movie. Hey, guys, did y'all know this movie was still happening? We didn't. I thought this was over. I thought this was done. Moana animated. Moana 2 animated coming out in like a month. I thought that was it. I hadn't heard about this live-action movie in quite some time. But I guess The Rock said, nah, we're still doing it, baby. And we got our first look at him. I'm putting the photo right here. Boom. Okay. Yeah, that's The Rock. He's got a bunch of fake tattoos over his real tattoos. He's wearing a grass, I'm going to say skirt, but that seems like inappropriate. I might be saying the wrong word there. They gave him a wig. He's got like that Maui hair, but he's got the Rock face. Like, obviously he's buff, you know, but Maui in the cartoon is a little more portly, strong, you know, but curvy. All right, he's a curvy boy. Uh, he just kind of looks a little out of place dressed like him. It kind of looks like they put him like in the Saturday Night Live, and they said, okay, dress him as Maui for that. But there he is. He's on set with newcomer Catherine Lagaya. I apologize if I'm saying that wrong. She is the live action Moana. You guys, this movie is set to hit theaters in July of 2025, being shot right now. So I guess we're going to be seeing a little bit more of this to come. I was, again, surprised that this project was still in the works. So are you guys excited for this? Let us know down in the comments because I'm curious. You guys, some news that I'm actually pretty excited for. We're flying through this episode. What are we, 6 minutes in? Guys, this is either going to be a 20-minute episode or we're going to be here for 4 hours. Okay, lock in. Guys, some news I'm pretty excited about. Okay. Robert Pattinson was just recently announced he's going to be reuniting with director Christopher Nolan in Nolan's new movie. We've been hearing a bunch of little tidbits about this upcoming movie over the last week or two. Some really big names have been attached. Great to see Robert Pattinson come back. While I didn't fully understand Tenet, I thought he was great in it, and they seem to work really well together. So, and especially with some of the projects he's been doing of late, let him just keep doing these high-profile things. Some of the first names we heard attached to this movie, Matt Damon is tapped to star, which I think is great. He had a great role in Oppenheimer, and he clearly very much loves working with Nolan. Kind of a surprise, Tom Holland, Spider-Man himself, is coming to the Nolan verse. They are both attached to lead this film. Zendaya is also attached, although I read that it was more of a cameo, being only in the movie for a few minutes. But of course, it's early days. We'll see what that really means when the movie comes out. Also, Anne Hathaway coming back. Shout out. Lupita Nyong'o also joining the Nolan verse. I'm pretty sure this is her first time with Christopher Nolan. If there's one thing like Nolan knows how to do, and he knows how to do a million things, if there's one thing he knows how to do, it's put an ensemble together. Okay. He just loves a solid stacked cast. And these people, they join these movies knowing they're going to be in, like, if Zendaya really is only in this movie for like 3 minutes, she knows what she's doing. I want to be in if I could be 3 minutes of a Nolan movie, yeah, sign me up. Okay. No real news as to what this movie is about. I'm going to quote from the Hollywood Reporter here. Nolan's latest comes with even less plot or logline details than usual. Various theoretical, even divergent details are being posited regarding the project. It's, quote, maybe a period vampire thriller. What? Or a helicopter action thriller. But insiders maintain nothing has come close to nailing Nolan's real idea. Hollywood Reporter. Half step back. What? The thing is, I'm gonna tell you this. No matter how goofy those two things sounded, apart from each other or together, I would watch either of those movies that Nolan directed. First off, him doing a vampire period piece, a period vampire thriller. Okay, fuck yeah. Like, let's see him do that. That would definitely be something a little outside of the norm for him. It would maybe feel a little more akin to The Prestige, with the period piece, but also with this kind of like mystical element to it. The Prestige is one of his best movies, so I would absolutely be down for him to go back to something like that. This one that also really throws me off is a helicopter action thriller. Huh? I don't know what that means. That's like, are we doing like Top Gun Maverick, but it's Nolan directed it, because that's interesting. There's something about a helicopter action thriller is giving me like Chips vibes, like two cops on a bike. Bop, bop. Well, what are we doing in a helicopter? What's the action? There's only so much action you can do in a helicopter. I don't know. I never saw that Mission Impossible movie. Ed's over there like, well, actually, you can do a lot with a helicopter. But I just don't see. Nolan does, 2+ hour movies, 2.5 hour movies. What are we doing with a helicopter for that long? But I tell you what, we'll see. And that was pretty much it for the news. We're wrapping that section up. God, hell yeah. 10 minutes in. This is going to be a great episode. Coming soon corner. We're going to give you guys a little heads up on something that's coming out here pretty soon. We talked about it very briefly on the podcast, but Clint Eastwood's last movie ever. Y'all know he's like 90 something years old, right? He's still directed movies. He just finished. Juror number 2 just came out like a month ago, within the last month, and this is the trend of these movies lately. These studios, man. This is a Zaslav move. This is a Warner Brothers picture. This movie just came out. It's already hitting Max December 20th, you guys. Just before Christmas, this movie's coming out. Guys, we used to go see movies in the Christmas season. That used to be the thing to go do. Hey, I'm so tired of seeing my family, my extended family and friends. I'd love to just go sit in a dark room and watch a movie so we don't have to talk to each other. Can we bring that back? All right. Now we have to sit at home, the house we were already in, and we have to put a movie on, and no one is shutting up. Everyone's talking. I'm still hearing Uncle so-and-so and Auntie such and such talk about whatever BS. And I'm just sitting here trying to watch this movie. Guys, bring back Christmas releases. Okay. Juror number 2 coming back to your TVs on Max December 20th. I really wanted to see this movie. I guess that's the only perk for me, Miguel Sanchez, is I don't have to go see that movie in the theaters. Great. I can just see it at home. Would I have loved to have seen it in theaters? Yeah, I pay for AMC, the subscription. I don't know why I do that. AMC, please. So if you're interested in that, go check it out on Max. Or if it's still in theaters and you want to go support, I might have said this previously, but it is kind of wild, right? Like Clint Eastwood, regardless of how you feel about him, is a Hollywood icon. His name has been, I mean, Denzel Washington was just quoted recently saying, "Oh, I haven't had to audition for 40 years." And you sit there for a second and you go, "Oh my God, Denzel Washington has been fucking on his game for 40 years. 40 plus years. He's been a name that you and I both know. Kids today growing up, I know who Denzel Washington is. Clint Eastwood has been around even longer than that. It is kind of wild. He transitioned from this big movie star career to directing. And again, no matter how you feel about those movies, he directed some bangers and he directed some hits. You know, people came to see his movies. It's kind of wild that for his last outing, Warner Brothers has decided to do a very limited theatrical release and then to throw him on Max just kind of right away. Zaslav, bro, you gotta go, dude. You are not doing it. Imagine Quentin Tarantino has been hyping up his last final movie. He's been talking, I'm going to do 10 movies. And let's say he actually does it. Let's say Quentin Tarantino actually does, and this is a different studio, actually sticks to his plan and does a 10th final movie. And whatever studio he's with is like, oh, and then by the way, it's going to be on streaming a week later. What the fuck? You know? No, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm so glad I'm doing a solo episode because now it's just like, can I just vent? You know? No, it's kind of silly. I do want to see this movie. Of course, I didn't go see it in theaters, but I wouldn't have had a lot of chance to see it anyway. Hey, guys, that's our coming soon corner. Wrap that up. Let's go ahead and talk about some trailers. I want to talk about one trailer in particular. Hey, did you grow up watching the 2010s DreamWorks animated feature plus trilogy, How to Train Your Dragon? You guys, people loved this film. Okay, I am kind of late to the game on it. My kid is 5 years old, so now I'm watching these types of movies a little bit more now. When it came out, I was not into this type of movie. I've seen the first one. It is really good. The music is so good. So good. Love it. But not that old of a movie, not that old of a franchise. Doesn't matter. Hollywood's still moving. All right, we got to make that shmoney. How to Train Your Dragon, the live action movie, is coming to theaters in June of 2025, so next year. They just released the teaser trailer for it. It wasn't very long, maybe about 45 seconds or so. We get to see Hiccup, played by Mason Thames, and Chief Stoic the Vast, played by Gerard Butler, who also voiced him in the movie. And we also get to see the titular dragon, Toothless, still cute as ever. Okay, it's a CGI dragon, and they said, we're not going to go hyper realistic with this dragon, with this CGI. We're going to make him look just like the movie. So really the only difference is that now the real life human beings are on screen in front of a green screen. Not much difference. It is a live action movie directed by Dean DeBlois. I don't know how you pronounce that. Ed, hop on later and tell me. He wrote and directed the original trilogy. He's coming back to helm this project. Guys, the trailer, very straightforward. It was just like a couple of really quick shots, and the last one being like kind of the iconic one of that first movie of him meeting Toothless the dragon for the first time, and then the dragon nudging him with his hand. But God, that music is so good. It's kind of making me like not hate this idea So we'll probably watch at my house. We'll probably watch the animated movies a couple more times. And if my son's super into it, we'll think about going to see this in theaters. If you guys are excited for this, let us know down below. Same with the Moana movie too. Are we excited about this? Is this the trend we want to follow? Disney has already kind of done it, and we've already kind of said we're over it. But maybe a new studio will kind of invigorate this idea, make us a little bit more excited. Let us know down below, okay? Hey, speaking of letting us know down below, I'm always talking about social media, okay? Like and subscribe. You hit us up on YouTube, follow us on Instagram. You could probably still follow us on Twitter, but you guys heard recently Miguel Sanchez just deleted his Twitter. So there's been this upset in the sphere of our lives, and as far as our nerd lives go in our group. So we have recently, among the three of us and a couple of our other friends, have moved to Threads. We're on Instagram's Threads now. Shout out Zuck. All right, we love Threads. Apparently, it's that's just the next best thing, I guess, for me. I already had it, and I already kind of like Instagram, so I've been using Threads a lot. This is something that Luis wanted to talk about, but he's not here tonight, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fucking do it anyway. But I tell you what, the last week or so, we've been hearing this new social media, which I guess has been around for a minute, but because people are starting to leave Twitter a little bit more en masse now, they're looking for that kind of like that little Twitter taste. Bluesky has become a pretty popular alternative to Twitter. And I think we're kind of talking about Bluesky versus Threads here tonight. First off, Bluesky just kind of aesthetically looks like old Twitter, like 2009 Twitter, like whenever the Twitter app came out. That's what it kind of looks like, that very first version of the Twitter app. It is kind of slimmed down, not super bulky with a bunch of different things. Blue and white seem to be the color scheme, so it evokes Twitter in the mind's eye, right? Couple of differences. The first off, the handle on Bluesky, which by the way, my wife had to correct me on this the other day. I told her, "Oh, have you joined this new app called Bluesky?" I was saying Bluesky like brewski. I was like, "Toss me a brewski, bro." I didn't even realize I was saying it wrong until she looked at me funny, and I said, "Oh, it's Bluesky," and she goes, "Yeah, it's Bluesky." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Skies are blue." I hopped on Bluesky, and I'm going to keep calling it that for the rest of the episode. Luis did not want me to. He said, "Miguel, no." Okay, he said everyone at work is trying to get Bluesky off the ground, and I just can't have another social media. And he'd like to tell you that he bullied me into joining Threads. Well, I bullied him into joining Bluesky. Okay, but it doesn't fucking matter because Bluesky sucks. All right, no one's going to be joining that. All right, it is not fun. As far as our friend group, Ed especially. Ed so much so did not want to talk about this. He was like, "Oh, my baby, I can't come on the episode tonight." We were like, "Okay, Ed, we get it. You don't like social media." But Bluesky, you join, you get your app, you get your handle, excuse me, you type in your handle, let's say whatever your handle was on Twitter, Instagram, whatever your like go-to is, you use it for Bluesky. Again, I'm gonna keep calling it Bluesky. You hop on, I'm gonna just read this to you real quick. You hop on, and I don't know if they're just trying to differentiate themselves or if it's like an algorithm thing or what, but my handle, you guys can follow me at Miguel M. Sanchez 2Zs on pretty much any social. My Bluesky handle is miguelmsanchez.bsky.social. Excuse me, what in the .hotmail is this? Okay, this is, we're doing too much. A handle should be clean, all right? Handles are already, usernames go as far back as your Xbox username, when you were 13 years old. Usernames have been ingrained into us, and sometimes you see them really clean, sometimes you see them really cluttered, but we've, as a society, have kind of found what works in a handle. Bluesky, chill out, okay? We're not doing miguelsanchez.bsky.social. Fuck off, okay? We're not doing that. So we're going to need that cleaned up here pretty quick if you want to see us stick around on your app. Threads, very similar. Threads was like, you could tell right away, Instagram, a year or two ago, I think it was about a year and a half ago now, Instagram released it, and it was like, hey, this is Instagram's Twitter. Okay, and I think that's what both of these apps, and I think it's what a lot of apps are going to go through right now. You're going to see this, like people leaving Twitter kind of getting, pushed up against the ropes a little bit here. So people are going to try to leave and try to create and recapture that spark, right? So you're going to see a lot of like Twitter copycats. And then these apps, if they want to stick around, are really going to have to kind of fine tune what works specifically with these social networks, what keeps people on these platforms, right? And so right now we're in kind of like a learning period, and we'll see kind of what sticks and what doesn't. Threads is interesting. What I've realized recently, people have been pointing out that you can't DM people on Threads. Fuck yeah. Don't message me. Don't message her. She doesn't want to talk to you. Scram, you know? Like DMs being turned off altogether is phenomenal, okay? Threads has really been patting itself on the back this last couple of weeks, though. Is, oh my gosh, don't bring that Twitter negativity here. We're so positive and we lovey-dovey and the energy here is so great. And I'm just like, it's just early days. It's early days. Like, just wait. We're going to get better at Threads. I will say both Threads and Bluesky, I have tried to kind of fine-tune my algorithm just slightly, a little more aggressively over the last week or so, just because I was like, these apps aren't working for me. Like, can I get back to my algorithm? I will say Threads has done it faster than Bluesky did. I just imagine someone somewhere is listening to this and going, oh my God, if he says Bluesky one more time, like and subscribe, baby. So Threads just kind of naturally was just kind of easier for me. Just hard. I don't do a lot of like retweeting or anything, whatever we call it there, reposting. But I just found myself like kind of finding the algorithm was a little bit easier there. Bluesky does something interesting where they make you follow feeds. Okay, so you like when you first sign up for an app, like think of any app, okay, and they go, oh, okay, thank you for joining. Let's find out what your interests are. Like, do you like science and movies and this and that? So you go like, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. And then they just throw those into feeds, and they're like separate walls that you can read from. So you click on Discover, and then you click on movies, or you click on science, or you click on food, and it takes you to that very tailored thing. It's what it's supposed to be, and I just haven't really gotten mine there yet. But I tell you what, between Bluesky, Threads, the thing that I'm really missing the most from being off of Twitter, and it feels like people are afraid to do this, the big thing that I think Twitter did for everyone, is give me the trending topics. This is an app full of X number of people, and I'm sure because it's early days right now, there's less people, and so that's why they're not really pushing that feature just yet. But it's like, I want to hear what we're all talking about in a more centered location. I don't want to read feed by feed what we're talking about, and I don't want to go through my whole feed scrolling and scrolling and scrolling to find it. I want to hop on and read the top trending topics of the day, because that's where I'm getting my news, so Threads is the closest one to it. It'll give you like 5 trending topics, but they're also kind of vague. And you click on them, and it's like, is this what we're really talking about? It feels like I said a couple weeks ago, Twitter early 2009 was like Justin Bieber trended every day. And it's like, are we just talking about Justin Bieber here? Because I don't care about that. I want to, like, let's get to the meat and potatoes of what we're actually talking about. And so the thing that I'm missing is like really kind of finding my news source. And so I'm having to kind of fine tune that. That's just a personal gripe. Do I think these apps are going to survive and like kind of find their own footing? Yes. I think Threads more so, just because of Instagram backing it. Facebook, Metaverse, Mark Zuckerberg. Come on, you guys. Like, it's like, if Tom from MySpace was like, I just created Bluesky, come over here, I think Bluesky would have a bigger footing. You know what I'm saying? But Threads just has so much behind it, pushing it forward already. I just see that that's the one that's going to really kind of take off. I think Bluesky is the one that we're going to talk about for a few months, and maybe next year it will have moved on. Or maybe in a year I'll be like, oh my God, this is the best app ever. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. But my vibes are saying, I don't know. I'm curious to hear what Luis has to say. Luis is like, I have too many social medias now. And Ed is like, I'm not signing up for any fucking social media. And I just love both of them for that, and here I am right in the middle. Guys, this is our, by the way, I didn't say this earlier. This is our, what we can talk about this now. I was supposed to talk about this with other people. We can talk about this now. You guys know our new segment where we can talk about it now. That was our social media portion of that. While we're sticking on social media, I got to talk to you guys about something that my algorithm, man, my algorithm on Instagram has been working. Same with TikTok too. I've just been seeing this so much lately. It's a little bit behind, but it's tailored to me, so I'm always a week behind as far as these goddamn reels and TikToks. Have you guys heard about a Balkan breakfast? Balkan breakfast? Have you heard about this? guys, I had never heard about this before in my life. I saw one video and then I saw 25 videos. Okay. God damn it. I love foodie videos. Food trends rock. So Balkan breakfast is super simple. It is literally you sit down and you eat a bunch of ingredients. Okay. It's like a whole tomato, a whole onion, a cucumber or zucchini. My wife and I couldn't decide what that was. Not green onions, but some maybe they were green onions because they had the bulb at the end of them. A carrot, cheese, bread, sausage, and you sit down and you eat all these things bite by bite, one by one. And that's the whole breakfast. That's it. This is I think the original video was like an actual Balkan dude. By the way, I don't even know where that is. Okay, shout out to geography. Was just sitting at a table eating that. And I guess people decided to make a trend of it. But my favorite video, and I am obsessed with this video, and I can't, it's just like the first time I realized, like, I think I get ASMR now. Like, it's been years, and I finally understand it. It's this guy. His name is Richard Antabalon. I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong. He goes, his 1 hour lunch break is his handle. And he goes, I'm eating a Balkan breakfast for lunch. Okay, he's one of those guys that eats his lunch in the car, and he does a foodie video from the car, which I am very hit or miss on those, you guys. I fucking like, okay, sometimes I'm into it, sometimes I'm not. Most of the time I'm not, because it's always like, why are you slurping fried chicken? Like, how are we slurping that? And you're somehow making some content off of this. It infuriates me. But this guy, man, he's just going to town. It's sausage, cheese, tomato, onions. He's eating an onion like an apple, you guys. And I tell you what, the first time I saw this, a bell pepper also, dude. Bell peppers, just straight like an apple. The first time I saw this, I was really put off. I was like, no. But then I watched it again, and I was like, I don't know. I kind of get it. He's crunching a lot, but he's not slurping. I'm getting a lot of crunch. I like that. Crunch is good. At the end of it, he eats it and he goes, 9.5 out of 10. That's all he said the entire video. Balkan breakfast, and then 9.5 out of 10. The rest of it is just crunch. And that's when I was like, I kind of get ASMR now. But every time I've shown this video to someone, I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? You know what everyone says? They go, I could do it. And I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. All right, finally, like, because a part of me wanted to be like, this is stupid. We can't be serious, blah, 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 blah. But then I don't know, man. There's something so just like basic about this meal. You're going to cut up these ingredients, you're going to throw them on a sandwich, or you could just eat them all and let your stomach do the work. You know what I'm saying? Come on, let's streamline this lunch, baby. We only got an hour. We got to eat. God damn, I wish people were on this podcast talking to me, because I'm just like, that's all I really had to say. I was hoping to get some feedback on that. Guys, would you eat a Balkan breakfast? Let me know down in the comments below. And in fact, if you take a video of yourself eating a Balkan breakfast in your car, your home, whatever, if you put together a 45-second clip of you eating all these things, we'll put it on the podcast. I don't care. Luis isn't here to tell me now. That was really all I wanted to talk about. I had a couple other things, but Ed and Luis aren't here, so I'm not going to bore you with this. Guys, guess how long oh my God, it's only 30 minutes. Fuck yes, dude. You guys thought I was going to do this for 3 hours. And tell you what, I'm going to take a real quick beer break. You guys just stick around for a second. This is, by the way, this is what most of these chicken videos sound like. Are you guys ready for this? How are you slurping chicken? How are you slurping fried chicken? It blows my fucking mind. But this one, a crunch way to go. Slurp, no, not the way for me. Okay. What we're into, Luis was into. No, I'm going to skip what Luis is into. I'm just going to talk about mine for a second. You guys, I'm just going to center myself here. I got two last things I want to talk about, then the episode's over. So what I've been into into two kind of surprising things. One, maybe not so surprising, but surprising to me because it's been out for a minute, okay? I think it was last year, 2023. What year is this? I'm pretty sure it was last year. Maybe it was very early this year. Hogwarts Legacy came out. I think it was last year. I finally got that on a sale. Now, guys, it's a Harry Potter game. It's the Portkey Games Hogwarts Legacy. It's not Harry Potter. I think it's set a couple hundred years before Harry Potter happens, but it's in the same universe. You understand? They go to Hogwarts. They meet all the wizards. You learn all the familiar phrases and spells and this and that. I'd been putting this game off for a while because, man, you guys know me. I love kind of waiting. I'm patient like that. All right. These new games come out, and especially on the PS5 now, they're $70 base game, $70. And it's like, okay, I have to know that this game is fun before I'm going to spend that kind of money. Or it has to be a game that I'm just like, of course I'm here. I want to be here day one. I've said that so many times. Hang on one second. Oh, fuck yeah. Welcome to the episode. But so I kind of waited on this one because I am like a Harry Potter light fan. You know, like I'm not hardcore Harry Potter fan, but I'm also like not super not into it either. Like Star Wars is kind of like my not thing. I don't like Star Wars. But Harry Potter I can fuck with, you know what I'm saying? Do I want to play the game? I don't know. That's something very specific. Like I really like the lore of it is kind of fun, but the gameplay really has to be there for me to kind of like lock into this. So I didn't want to buy it outright first, and I told myself there's one of two things is going to happen. It's going to go below $30 at some point, or it's going to go on the Game Pass where I can play it for free because I already pay for the PlayStation subscription. Okay, and I just kind of told myself, Miguel, this is for this game. We're going to hold out. We're going to wait till one of those two things happen. And babies, I got my wish. Okay, about a month ago, there was a sale going on in the PlayStation Network. Shout out Sony. Their game sales are always so good. You guys have heard me talk about that before. I got Hogwarts Legacy for $20.99 because it was so cheap, which was way less than $30. Right? I was like expecting a $30 price point. I got it for $20. Yes. I also got Hot Wheels 2 for my son, and I also got High on Life, which Luis had played earlier this year, and I'd been really wanting to play, and it came to the Xbox Game Pass, but it didn't come to the PlayStation one. So I said, well, I'm not going to buy this game for $60. And I got all of that total for $60. So basically about $20 a game. And I was ecstatic with that sale. I love spending a PlayStation 4 base game price and getting multiple games. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? God damn, I love a sale. So I got Hogwarts Legacy, and I kind of put it off for about a month. We just started playing it a couple days ago. We watched a bit of the first movie with my son for the first time. We were kind of getting to the Harry Potter spirit. The next day, my wife was like, why don't we play the new Harry Potter game that you got? And I said, okay, let's do it. And I had started like the first 2 minutes of the game really late at night one time. I created my character, got a minute into the opening scene. I said, I'm just too tired for this. I said, let's start the game over. I let my wife create the character. Okay. Well, now we're having fun, right? My kid's watching us play. My wife's playing with me. She doesn't ever play games with me. I let my wife create the character. She went with a Billie Eilish theme, which was very on a theme for her. And we jump right in. It's a very similar story to Harry Potter. They're trying to give you those like Harry Potter breadcrumbs without being too Harry Potter. She's he or she, depending on your gender, is a fifth-year student, late in the game, has been admitted to Hogwarts because they sense something in her. You guys, she's got that magic, you know. So she's coming in late in the game. The intro is that she's been getting some like side lessons just to kind of prep her into coming into Hogwarts. But that's where she's really going to get her education. And it starts right, like there's some mystery in the air. There's something going on. The professor that's on the side has been kind of teaching her. He's lost his wife previously, and she, wouldn't you know it, had some sort of secret mystery going on behind the scenes that she's just trying to put all the right people in the right places to kind of solve this mystery. And that's what the kind of start of the game is, and to get you into the story. The thing that hooked me on this, it was like pretty good dialogue back and forth. Okay, it's Harry Potter. Okay, it's Harry Potter. Okay, it's Harry Potter. They're flying in a carriage through the sky. They're heading to Hogwarts. In the middle of this one guy's dialogue, just kind of out of nowhere, middle of the line, mid-sentence, a dragon comes out of nowhere and fucking eats the shit out of that carriage. It scared the shit out of me. Okay, I haven't felt like that in a game in a very long time, because Kristen's always telling me, like, when we play games together, I get a little, not impatient, but I have to like really remind myself, like, okay, my wife, my son, they don't play games as much as I do, or as long as I have. And so like things that when you play games a lot, you understand the pattern of what they're trying to get you to do. And so you have to be a little more patient by people that are trying to kind of figure that out. This was the first time in a long time where I felt like, oh, I did not see that coming. Oh man. And it hooked me right away. They give you a whole level of like kind of zapping between worlds or realms, kind of not really understanding what's happening with you and this other professor to you're both like trying to figure out what's going on all at once, and he's still trying to get you to Hogwarts. And it ends after this really just super fun opening battle, very very much like God of War 2018, when he meets the other, I'm blanking on his name, like the other demigod from like the Nordic universe, and they fight, and that's when you learn that he can't die, the other guy can't die. It was one of those really epic opening fights. And boom, and then they cut to Hogwarts, and then the title comes, and then they sort you into the school, or to the house that you are. And man, then it was just like run around Hogwarts and learn how to be a fucking wizard. Yes, sign me the fuck up. The controls are a little not complicated, but they're a little more complex. It's not just press square, press triangle. You have to kind of like activate them by pressing R2 and then pressing square. Much like Ghost of Tsushima, where you would have to you would have like sub actions to each button, right? You had to kind of like pull up the right version of that button if you wanted to use it. And so I'm really having a fun time with that kind of complexity in the gameplay. Some of the reviews I've read that the gameplay does get a little stale or repetitive. But I will say this for now, as I'm just kind of getting into it only in the first couple hours of the game. I'm loving walking around this world. I'm loving the music. I'm loving the setting. I haven't unlocked the broom yet. That's coming up. And I'm just kind of like excited to play around in this world, watch the movies, play the game. It's just been a really great time in my house between my wife, me, and my son, just to kind of have this like fun family bonding. It's been, I would just say one final thought, totally worth the price point. So that's another thing. When you're kind of back and forth, this is just a little side note from Miguel. When you're really back and forth on a game, be patient, okay? Really sit with it, let the reviews come out, watch a little bit of the gameplay without spoiling too much. If you don't care about spoilers, let them wash over you. Just wait until the price point comes, because then you're going to enjoy it more. There's nothing worse than a game that is kind of fun, but you paid too much for it. You know what I'm saying? So really find where that is in your budget and play within that realm, that boundary, and you're going to have a lot of fun playing these games. Where some people will come out day one and say, this game sucks because of this, 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 and this. And I would argue, well, this game sucks because you paid $70 for it. Or you got the, you got the free game promo, and then you just decided to create hate content for clicks. So really take a time with the game before you buy it. Oh my God, let me get off my soapbox. Fuck it. It's 40 minutes. Should I just go for an hour? Like, could I just ramble for 20 more minutes and then go for another hour after that? No. All right. So my last thing is my wife, God love her. She got me into something recently. This is one of those, you guys know the whole, I was talking about something else with this recently. Euphoria. I was talking to Steven, longtime fan and guest host, Steven Escobar comes on the podcast. I was telling him the other day, are you talking about Euphoria? He was like, oh no, I've never seen that. And I was like, oh, you should get into it. Like there's some things you're going to like and not like about it. But my wife was watching it, and I was doing that thing where I caught an episode or two and I was like, what's going on? And then she was like, do you want to just start it over? And we did. I ended up really liking that show. The same thing happened with what I'm about to talk about. My wife was watching this show on Netflix. She is the Netflix queen in our house, you guys. I have been begging for a year or two now to get rid of our Netflix subscription, and she is clutching onto that thing. And she said you could pry it from her cold, dead hands because she watches so much. Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. She watches so much Netflix content, and I write it off. I'm like, I'll watch a movie that I want to watch if it's on Netflix, but I'm not going to sit here and watch all these TV shows. But God damn it, guys, she was watching this show, and I caught the tail end of the second to last episode, and I said, whoa. And she was like, watch the next one. I was like, oh, I don't know. And she was like, I'm turning it on anyway. I was like, okay. I watched the last episode of the first season, and I said, oh, fuck. And she was like, yeah. And then we started the first episode of the second season, and I was like, okay, based on my limited knowledge, I understand kind of what the key things they're trying to tell me in this first episode. And I just kind of couldn't stop thinking about it. And she was like, do you want to just start it over? And I said, yes. And guys, we are watching it's on Netflix, but I'm pretty sure it's like a Stars show. I should probably look that up while I'm talking, but it's Vibes episode. It's got 6 or 7 seasons. They're all out on Netflix right now. It's called Outlander. Okay. Listen to this fucking premise. Okay. It is set just after World War II, I'm pretty sure. The main lead of the show, whose name, guys, I don't know any of their names. I've watched literally 3 episodes, and it was the 15th episode, the 16th episode, part of the second season opener, and then now the first episode of the whole show. So forgive me if I don't know all their names, okay? The lead is, she was like a nurse in the war. Her husband was also like some sort of soldier in the war, but they were stationed to separate countries or continents or whatever, and they have not really seen each other much for 5 years. So the show starts with the war ending, and they become a married couple again. And they're going on their like quote unquote second honeymoon to really find each other. in this Scottish town of some fuck Scottish name. And they're there for this. Wouldn't you know it? It's like Halloween. It's like, oh, the ghosts and the spooky spirits are in the air. It's fun. It's silly. The guy, they're really trying to kind of push past their war personas and just get back into normal everyday life. And before they do that, they take this little trip on this little honeymoon to kind of reconnect. And he is a historian, and specifically, he's super interested in his personal family lineage. He wants to know all of these facts. So he's meeting with all these like local, like the priest of the town who has all this like factual information on paper stored away in his like priest vault. And they're going back and forth talking about, oh, this is my heritage, this is my heritage. And she's like, oh, I'm having a good time walking around the town, having this little vacation. They fuck a lot in the first episode. It's really weird. And then towards the end, they go and they see this like magic, like seance type thing where these like Scottish witches are dancing around these like ancient stones, and the witches leave. They walk around the stones for a little bit. She sees a flower. She's like some horticulturalist or something. She sees some flower. They go back to the hotel. She goes, I can't stop thinking about that flower. He's like, I'm gonna go do my research, babe. You go look for those fucking flowers. I'm only just giving you the setup. I just need you to understand the setup. I'm sorry for talking so long about this. Just when you hear this setup, then you're gonna go, oh, what? Okay. So she goes back to these magic stones to get this flower, and I can't remember why. I was a little drunk. Something startled her or something, and she grasped a hold of the magic stone that had been seanced to the scene earlier, and she fucking time travels back to the 1700s, okay, and wakes up in the middle of this war between the British and the Scottish, okay, because there's redcoats going around, and I saw the Patriot. I know what redcoats mean. All right, sorry, Ed. And then the kilted Scottish, okay, they're at war with each other. And she's like, where the fuck am I? Whatever. She runs. She's hearing all this fighting. These soldiers are kind of shooting their muskets at her. Hang on one second. Guys, fucking welcome to the podcast. She's getting shot at. She's running. She's hiding. She doesn't know what's going on. She runs to this creek. She runs into her husband dressed as this colonel or whatever in this British army. He's red coated. He's got this long hair, and she keeps calling him Frank. And he's like, I'm not Frank. All right. He turns out to be this like vicious, horrible bad guy. And he thinks she's a Scottish woman, and he's trying to kill her. And the whole show is her being like, I'm in this fucking timeline that's not mine. My husband's ancestor, who he was so into on paper, is actually this like bloodthirsty, fucking horrible person who tortures people for fun, rapes and tortures people for fun. And so then she has to kind of like grapple. Am I hooking you guys on this shit yet? Then she has to grapple with the fact that like she wants to be home. She wants to get home to her husband. But then it's like the idea of being with him again after all this is kind of off-putting. And then she fucking goes and marries a whole nother Scottish man in the 1700s and has this whole separate life built around that, where she goes, I don't even think I want to go back anymore. And then all that happens, you go, well, what the fuck is going to happen? And then my wife goes, do you want to watch the show from the beginning? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of do. And here I am now, you guys, watching Outlander, okay? Episode 2 coming out now. I have started season 2, so now I know how season 1 ends, and it is graphic, you guys. That is what really kind of hooks me. I was like, I can't believe they're doing this. Oh, the guy, by the way, the bad, evil bad guy that also is her husband in the future, he's played by that Uncle Tully, whatever his name is, from the River Run or whatever, in Game of Thrones. Catelyn Stark's brother or uncle, okay, the guy that can't shoot the bow and arrow to burn the guy, and the blackfish has to go take it. That guy, he is the bad guy in the show, and man, he is just milking it. He is absolutely gross and grotesque. Such a fun vibe, though. The Scottish Highlands, it is beautiful where they are. The music that they play throughout the show. Bear McCreary, shout out Ed and Luis, they know who I'm talking about. He does the music for this show. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's a Starz show, because if it's Netflix, there's no way it would have made to 6 or 7 seasons. Okay, and goddamn it, each season has 16 episodes. Okay, 16-hour-long episodes. The fuck? All right. We're really doing that. So my wife has just been kind of hooked on it, and she kind of got me into it too. So I'm going to be updating you guys later down the road on my Outlanders journey. We started Grey's Anatomy again earlier this year. We only got about season halfway. No, we finished season 2, that long-ass, god-awful, long-ass season of Grey's Anatomy. We can get through 2 or 3 seasons of the show. Okay, so I'll report back later and let you know how it goes. But I expect it to go some really crazy places. And that was the fucking episode. Guys, 45 minutes, suck my dick. You guys didn't think I was going to do it, and I did. Wow, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so aggressive. I'm just still kind of hyped, but I'm coming down now. No one should have let me do a solo episode. This was who asked for this? Not you guys, but I gave it to you anyway. Okay. And like and subscribe. Ed and Luis, they're going to be back. Luis will be back next week. Ed may be back next week. But we're going to be talking about, I think Wicked and Gladiator comes out. We're going to be talking about one of them. Probably both, but maybe more so Gladiator than the other. But we'll see, because God knows Wicked has just been really advertising the shit out of that movie. I've seen Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande cry in an interview about 45 million times in this week alone. So kind of looking forward to it. And I'm also kind of curious, like seeing it with all these goddamn musical theater nerds who are going to be sitting in the theater, like scream singing the entire time. And maybe that'll be a fun time, like get a little drunk and have a good time with those kids. And I say kids, I'm talking about people my age who are theater kids from the past. I think I'm done rambling. Yo, let me give some shout outs. Let me just shout out some people that I know are listening. Okay. Luis. Shout out Luis. Shout out Ed. You guys have been longtime listeners. Okay. You guys are always sharing our content. Shout out Eric. Shout out Steven. We've had some other people on the show that we're looking to have back. Francesca, come on back. Jeffrey, Benny, we'd love to hear from you guys again. I'm missing some other people. All of Luis's bachelor party, they can come back. Sean's listening right now. Sean, come on. We're ready for you. If you guys want to leave us voice memos, you guys know where to hit us up. It's on Instagram. If you have our phone numbers, text us because we're chill like that. Message us, leave us a voice memo. If it's something coming up like Wicked or Gladiator, and you saw the movie and you want to review it. Eric Jew gave us his review of Joker recently. The Penguin, aka Steven Escobar, he came on and talked about the show and working on that. As the Penguin, he left a voice memo recently too. If you want to do a bit, we love fucking bits. Leave us a voice memo. We will air them. It's like 13 minutes left till an hour. Like, should I just keep rambling? No, I'll wrap up. So yeah, that was the episode. Like and subscribe. Leave us a review. Comment on all of our shit, and we will talk to you back. And until next time, I'm Miguel Sanchez. Luis and Ed will be back soon. And later, Gators. Love you, babies. Bye.